Okay, as many of you know, I've been selling all different types of wands, from the Westpaks, the Pro Chems, to the Dang Pros, all different types of wands. And one thing that I pride myself on is, if something's not right, I'll take it out of the TMF store. And one thing I took out of the store was the Dang Pro wand. And why did I do that? I want to get this point across. All the other wands, the Dang Pro wands that were non-swivel, I still sell those. They've held up great, whether it's the stair tools, whether it's the furniture tools, whether it's just regular wands. If they're non-swivel, they hold up well. The problem is he's had a problem getting the swivel perfected. Notice this one's a little bit locked up right here, and it's very difficult. The first version he had of the bearings, it was really poor, so he got rid of that totally. Then he moved over to this one right here, the needle bearing. You sent me each one each time. And the needle bearing worked pretty good, but you have to take these little screws, you have to take the head, and you have to work them off, and it's really difficult because you really don't have much room to work. And it still locks up on you, so it's really a pain. So I really wasn't happy with it, so I took it out of the store. And I told him, I said, look, you get the wand right, let me know, send it in, and then I'll take a look at it. If it's right, I'll put it in the store. Well, I feel like he's got it right, and let's take a look at why I say that. Okay, first of all, it's lighter. I really like that. It's a titanium wand. It's a little bit lighter. It's got a great, easy handle, soft trigger touch on it, on the thing. It's got 4 jets, just like the other one with the extenders. A nice slotted glide on it. It's really nice. It's really good. The aluminum head. And what he basically did is he switched out the swivel and put one in there with bearings. And I'm going to show you a video here. Actually, the mechanic here, Brian, went through it. I had him go through it completely to make any necessary changes or work with the Dang Pro people to make sure that it's really a good wand. So he went through the whole wand, and he assembles it and shows you how to assemble it and talks to you about all the key points. One cool little thing here, it's got this little slide lock. Just slide this back and it swivels. And what's so cool about it, when I compare it to the other models, the other ones were kind of crunchier. They didn't feel right when they swivel. This one really swivels very smoothly. Has a sight glass on top of it. And what's nice about the swivel is, well, if you're going up under some furniture, look how far it goes down, just like that. So you get up under the furniture real nice. So having a swivel wand, especially if you're working in a customer's house who has beds. None of us really like to move beds, and we generally tell our clients we don't move them. But women would really appreciate if you can get under the bed, so how can you do that? Get a swivel wand, go right under there. That's great. And then let's suppose you got a really dirty traffic pattern. Well, you just lock the head back in, boom, go right across it. Now you got it locked in, you can really give it a nice good scrub, okay? So I think it's really nice, but the key component of this is the swivel. He really did a nice job. You can see the length of the sleeve here. It's got 2 screws here. You pop it out, put the bearings in there, grease them, and it's got 2 seals. 1 seal in the back, 1 seal in the front. Keeps debris from getting inside there. And then it's got three races there, and all the ball bearings go in there. And we're going to show you how to assemble it. It's real simple. And then about every 6 months or so, you want to pop this cover off and re-grease it. As long as you keep it greased, there's no reason you can't get a good 5, 10, 15 years out of this wand. I will say this much, he gives a 3-year warranty on the new swivel. That's how confident he feels about it. And also it's a 30-day money-back guarantee return. If you don't like the wand, 30-day return, just send it back and he'll replace it. So I really feel confident that he did a great job of getting the swivel right, giving the proper guarantee, and he backs up his product. So I think it's a great product. And remember, it doesn't come in this color. He made it for us specially, and it's red. You'd have to have a special order one if you wanted that one. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at Brian assembling it, and you can see exactly how it goes together and how you can maintain it. Oh, and by the way, at the end of the video, after everything's said and done, we went ahead and included a little bit of blooper material where Brian was getting acclimated with the wand. We found it very hilarious and hope you do also. I'm Rob Allen with Truckmountforums. Have yourself a great day.
Alright, we're going to be covering the assembly of the Dang Pro wand version 3. Now this is a new setup, this is a new design, and looking at the head here, I like how it's got a window. Let's see. It's all one solid piece, and it looks like there's 2 welds here. It's the first weld and the second weld, making this all one solid connection. Alright, so we'll bring in the tube here and look at the assembly for that. I can see that there's 3 grooves here for the ball bearings, and there's also 3 races inside of here also. But more importantly, there are 2 seals, one in the front and one in the back, and we want to make sure that those aren't dry. And also here, it looks like this is where we're going to be inserting the ball bearings. I like on the adjacent side it has a lock for locking the swivel head into place. Alright, so the first thing we'll do is go ahead and assemble the two together. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and set this up. I like how the window is removable also. And these holes are slightly bigger than the ball bearings, and it should make it for easy assembly. Now the hardware comes with all the tools necessary to assemble it. I used a magnet to help me control the ball bearings. There should be more than enough ball bearings to complete the assembly. Now you notice I'm just taking these ball bearings and putting them one by one into the races, and they should slip right into the groove. Now once the ball bearings are in, you might want to move the head a little bit. You see I've inserted them, but when I move it they fall down into the grooves, and you just continue to repeat this process, turning the head, letting the grooves fall in, letting the ball bearings fall into place. Now if you don't have very much patience, you can do this little trick here, and I just got a bunch of ball bearings and I massage them in, and you can see that the ball bearings are actually falling into the groove, and it makes quicker here. It makes it for quicker assembly. Now I'll go ahead and continuously turn the head and check that I can't fit any more of the bearings inside. If you look closely, you can see that the bearings are inside of the race now. I'll stick this tool in here, and you can see there should be a little bit of a space between the bearings. Not enough for another bearing, but I just use the tool just to check that there isn't enough room for any more bearings, and then you know that all three races are full. Next we'll go ahead and put some lubrication inside. Now I'm using fairly thin oil for the initial assembly. Now it's better to use thick grease inside of these things. It'll last a lot longer, but this is still the same process. I fill up the holes, turn it, and I went ahead and put the cap on and give it a few turns just so I can keep the bearings in place as I distribute the lubricant inside. I'll go ahead and pull that back off. Fill these holes up one more time. And put the cap on and spin it. And what that's going to do is that's going to lubricate all of the bearings and get everything nice and lubricated in there. And I'm going to go ahead and take it off and do it one more time. You can't fit enough of this stuff in there. And like I said before, thicker grease is going to be better. I'm doing this for the initial assembly. Squeeze that in there, so we know we got plenty in there. Of course, the last step is going to go ahead and be put the two screws in that hold it and remove the control screw. Now that screw was there just to make it easier to move the cap. Alright, now that we have that on there, we'll go ahead and assemble the jets. Now the jets come with their own hardware and their own washer. I like to put it on the Allen wrench that was included. And go ahead and assemble the jets on the head. And now that we've done the other side, you want to make sure that you adjust it before you tighten it all the way. And you want to make sure that there's, see, now look right here closely, you can see that there's a gap on each side so it's not touching the swivel head. Now is a good time to actually check that your jets are straight also. And that it does swivel at least 180 degrees. Alright, now that the head is assembled, we'll go ahead and make sure it has plenty of flexibility. Everything looks nice and straight. And this looks like a good time to tighten up the mount. Now most everything comes loose when it is shipped, and you want to go ahead and make sure that every nut and bolt on this thing is pretty tight, so everything looks nice and straight and tight. And we'll just check that one more time. Feels nice and smooth. Alright, so now for your lever. That's probably loose also. Now the two bottom nuts and bolts is what holds it to the wand. So we'll go ahead and make sure that those are nice and tight. And we'll tighten the top assembly also. Now notice how the lever isn't bouncing back, so it's a little bit too tight. If you want to make that adjustment to make sure your handle is springing back correctly. Alright, now that we've got a feel for the wand, we can go ahead and determine where the handle should go. Now the handle height is different for everyone, different height people and just comfortability. And we'll go ahead and slip the bracket behind the feed tube. It's the solution tube. And of course it comes with nuts and bolts and washers. So we start off with a nut and a washer, run it through, and then it's going to be a washer and the nut. And now that that's all assembled, we should be ready to test her out. This particular design looks like it'll last a good while longer. Those seals are designed to last 3 to 5 years. And if you ever need to replace the seals, you should be able to get the bearings out fairly easily because the holes are bigger on this one. And let's give her a test out. Seems to me that this thing is going to hold onto the carpet fairly well, but it has 4 jets. I really like how I can move around and it stays stuck to the carpet. It swivels very well. There's lots of flexibility on this. I like how I'll be able to fit underneath the furniture and in tight spots. And I love the option here that you're able just to click this forward and it's your regular wand again. I think this wand will be a great addition to the equipment that I already have. And if it's greased well and taken care of, it may be the best wand you've ever owned. And that was it, the Dang Pro Wand version 3. Today we're going to be covering this rug, and it has a tool on it. The tool is something that we can assemble together if you follow my instruction. First, have things to assemble. Then, put on blue gloves and look at things. And let's just go take a break. Now this is some sort of tube that it connects to. These little dangly things. Yep, if I can stick my finger in there,